In 2001, the second largest bookstore chain in America handed their entire online business to Amazon. Every Borders.com customer was redirected straight to Amazon's store. Amazon took the sales. Amazon took the data. Amazon took the loyalty. Borders got a fee. For 7 years, they paid their biggest competitor to take their customers. Borders was more than a store. It was a ritual. The bell over the door, the scent of coffee, paper and ink, shelves that stretched for miles. Every corner promised discovery. The music sections spun jazz and indie rock. Reading chairs waited by the windows. Kids sprawled on carpets, lost in stories. Staff gave real recommendations, not algorithms. It felt curated, personal, and safe. None of it happened by accident. In 1971, two brothers in Ann Arbor, Michigan, built a secret weapon. Louis and Tom Borders wrote their own inventory software. It tracked every sale, every trend, every season. The system knew what to stock before customers even asked. Local stores borrowed it. Competitors tried to copy it, but only Borders had the code. By the late 90s, Borders had grown into a giant. Over 1,200 locations, more than 35,000 employees. The stores became landmarks. People met there, fell in love there, spent hours, not minutes. But the magic faded fast. The founders were pushed aside. New executives wanted scale, not soul. The algorithm that once set Borders apart was shelved. The warmth of the store shrank behind spreadsheets. The chain that once felt like home would soon hand its future to a rival. The betrayal was not sudden. It crept in, one decision at a time. Kmart paid $190 million for Borders. The deal closed in December 1992. The founders walked out. The new bosses came from discount retail, not books. Borders became a line item, a cost center, not a crown jewel. Every decision had to justify itself on a spreadsheet. The algorithm that once predicted demand was sidelined. The focus shifted to scale, not substance. Then came the internet. Borders.com launched. Sales hit $27.4 million in fiscal 2001, but online was treated like a side project, not a future, just another expense. Kmart's logic infected everything. Cut costs, avoid risk, outsource if you can. Greg Josefowicz arrived in November 1999. He wasn't a bookseller. He was a numbers man. He called e-commerce a distraction. He called it a drain. He called it a gamble Borders couldn't afford. The board listened. They believed the website would never match the stores. They saw red ink, not opportunity. The solution: get rid of the problem. Hand it off. Let Amazon handle the headaches. Borders would collect a small cut and avoid the cost. The logic was cold. Give up the future to protect today's margins. The company that once led with technology now treated it like toxic waste. Borders didn't just fall behind. They paid their rival to run ahead. Amazon didn't just get Borders' online sales. They got the keys to the vault. Every click, every search, every wish list was handed over. Borders signed away customer data, order histories, email lists. Amazon could track what Borders loyalists bought, what they browsed, what they wanted next. Suddenly, Amazon's algorithms had a new weapon. They learned which books sold in Ann Arbor, which authors spiked in Seattle, which genres spiked after Christmas. Borders customers became Amazon's test subjects. The deal locked Borders out of its own future. Amazon didn't just process orders. They watched. They learned. They adapted. Every Borders.com visitor landed in Amazon's world. Cookies tracked them. Emails followed them. Amazon's recommendation engine sharpened with every transaction. By 2007, Amazon launched the Kindle. Borders data helped Amazon know exactly which readers would buy it on day one. Borders had no say, no access, no way back. While Borders collected a sliver of sales, Amazon built a fortress of insight. They used Borders' audience to refine the very tools that would end Borders' relevance. The contract was supposed to save money. Instead, it handed Amazon the playbook. Borders didn't just lose ground. They funded the competition's rise, one customer at a time. Borders kept making bets. It couldn't win. In 2006, CDS and DVDS brought in 20% of revenue. Streaming and downloads gutted that business overnight. Borders doubled down anyway, filling stores with discs as customers vanished. The shelves turned into dead weight. Long-term leases boxed Borders in. Most ran 15 to 20 years. When foot traffic slowed, rent still came due. Empty stores bled cash month after month. There was no escape clause and no way to shrink fast enough to survive. Leadership spun like a revolving door. 6 CEOs cycled through in 5 years. Each promised a turnaround. Each left before the ink dried on their strategy. No one stayed long enough to fix what was broken. Debts piled up. Vendors stopped shipping new releases. Payroll checks bounced. By the time Borders filed for Chapter 11, it owed $1.29 billion. Rent, royalties, unpaid invoices. Every number pointed down. Borders didn't just lose to Amazon. It trapped itself in a maze of bad contracts, dying products, and vanishing leadership. Every decision tightened the noose. The fall wasn't sudden. It was a slow-motion collapse, played out in public, one mistake at a time. Barnes & Noble faced the same storm. They made a different bet. They kept their online store in-house. They refused to hand over their customers. In 2009, they launched the Nook. It wasn't just an e-reader. It was a declaration. They would fight for digital ground themselves. Every Nook sold meant another reader who stayed in the Barnes & Noble world. Their website never redirected to a rival. They owned the transaction. They owned the data. They saw what readers wanted, and they built new offers around it. The Nook didn't topple the Kindle, but it kept Barnes & Noble in the game. They invested in their own future, even as the ground shifted beneath them. Proof that survival wasn't impossible. The difference was a choice. Borders gave away the keys. Barnes & Noble kept theirs. Borders' last act was not a battle. It was a handoff. By 2011, the company was out of moves. The doors were closing. The shelves were bare. The auction began. The world watched to see who would pick the bones clean. Amazon did not even bother to show up. The company Borders had once paid to run its future refused to buy its remains. There was nothing left that Amazon wanted. No stores, no staff, no secrets. Only debts and memories. Meanwhile, Barnes & Noble still stood. Their stores remained open. Their website remained alive. Their data remained their own. Borders had traded its future for a quick fix. The rival they funded walked away, richer and stronger, leaving Borders to vanish without a trace. Borders didn't just lose, they handed over the keys. Today, competitors sell out their futures for a fleeting edge. In a world where data means power, one bad deal can crown your rival king. The lesson: survival isn't about surrender. It's about never giving your enemy the map.